Modern Warfare 2 is on its way. No, not that one. No, not the multiplayer remaster that everyone wanted for like 3 years. A new one. Modern Warfare 2 2022, not Modern Warfare 2 2009, Modern Warfare 2 2022, follows Modern Warfare 2019. It's clear as mud. There is an awful lot of excitement for Modern Warfare 2. This comes from the popularity of Modern Warfare 2019, probably also the nostalgia factor and the love for the original Modern Warfare 2. And another factor is the absolute cluster Call of Duty has been in since Modern Warfare was rebooted. We can finally move away from this. The last point is why Modern Warfare 2 and the new Warzone set to follow along with it just have to be good. For the community, for the developers, and predominantly for Activision. Modern Warfare came along a few years ago and brought new life into the franchise and redefined it into the system we all know so well now. It was a success both critically and commercially, and along with Warzone it poured in the big bucks. But since then, what have we had? Black Ops Cold War, which was a game that was never meant to be in that 2020 slot and was rushed out due to the collapse of what Sledgehammer had planned for that year. It lacked content day one, looked worse than the games that had come out previously, brought about a very average prequel story and a zombies mode that, while semi-fun to play, was basic, lazy and lacking. But financially it did well, so Activision didn't mind too much. Then came Vanguard, which wasn't necessarily a bad game. Stop sharpening the pitchforks, alright, calm down. But it was in a setting that has been seen so often at this point. It is a 6-year period of history, and yet the amount of games that have released within it is ridiculous. Even in those games, they typically only focus on the last 2 years or so. While the multiplayer on the face of it was actually alright with a lot of maps, modes and different types of play with the various types of games, but it never really worked very well at all. The amount of packets that have burst, I can't have many of the left. Campaign was odd, okay to zone out and just play, but just odd. Zombies was, or is, close to awful. And it's also worth mentioning that with it not really being made with these games in mind whatsoever, Warzone got practically poleaxed by these new releases. So much so they have the desire to rebuild it with the new one as opposed to fix the one they have. But the key now in the Vanguard coffin specifically, as opposed to the issues with the game itself, is of course the money. It did not do as well as Activision had hoped. And this is why Modern Warfare 2 is going to be on a 2-year cycle, a first for the franchise. This means monetized content for 2 years all round, possibly extras following that, before 2024 sees Treyarch back in the fold. Vanguard's financial failure could be the end of Sledgehammer as a primary developer. Who knows? Nothing has been said on this, and I doubt we would get a clear picture of this until information starts trickling out about what follows the 2024 release. All of this has left Call of Duty in a bit of a mire of nothing. It's not doing anywhere near as well as it can do, as proven by Cold War and Modern Warfare. However, with its only real direct competition absolutely shitting itself into a coma, Season 1 6 months after the release by the way, Vanguard has basically been able to get away with it. Just existing there, entertaining those who enjoy it, while everyone else basically forgets about it. Call of Duty doesn't want the majority forgetting about it though. No wonder Activision spunked a load of cash on King Kong and Godzilla. What the by the way? Maybe I'm a moany but who wants this in a Call of Duty game? Now. So Modern Warfare 2 needs to do a few things. It needs to pull those who are perhaps disinterested or become apathetic into the hype. It has already done this even before a trailer came out. Now the trailer's out, it's going to do this even more. The name and the sub-brand have that pull. But next it needs to sell well, which is, let's be honest, a given. There is very little chance that in terms of game sales, Modern Warfare 2 doesn't do very well. But what matters most is that the game is good enough to hold the player's attention for the long term, not just for a month or for the release week. Now some of you are saying, well, that's obvious. Some of you will also be thinking with a glass half empty attitude that Activision do not care about the state of the game and only the money rolling in from massive sales, and both of you would be right. As we've already gone over, Modern Warfare 2 will be the first game to have a true 2-year cycle as a flagship Call of Duty. This will require content to be purchased throughout the 2 years, otherwise Activision have a very dodgy 2023 up until the Microsoft acquisition, assuming that goes through. If the game is shite, less people buy their anime packs, their tracer packs with the pretty bullets and the season passes. The game has to be up for it for 2 years, along with the new Warzone. If it isn't, Activision are a bit of a tricky spot. Just imagine it, their golden sub-franchise has had a sequel flop and they go into 2024 and beyond with games that are a bit of an unknown. Treyarch could continue to beat the dead horse that is the Black Ops franchise, but it is so tired at this point. Sledgehammer, if they remain involved, they could go anywhere, do anything, but it will not be as successful as an Infinity Ward or Treyarch title. However, I doubt any of that will actually happen. If any game is going to successfully take Call of Duty onto a 2-year cycle, a Modern Warfare game will do it. It is a safe bet. On the back of the 2019 reboot, that Modern Warfare 2 will be a massive success, both for the men in the suits who will take in the big bucks, and for the players who will benefit from 2 years of a solid game. If it isn't though, Activision will be the bed.